Hello again, welcome to another video on our deck rebuilds renovation series. This is day 2. We just had a rain delay yesterday, so you didn't see much going on then. But as you can see, the steps are down, we got some wood down, and funny story, the steps were very easy to come off because they used to be attached over here. And I was walking down them and they actually just collapsed. That's how ready it was to actually come down. So I filmed the initial video, and maybe 15 minutes later I walk out onto the steps and they just fell down. And yeah, there's a funny video for that. I probably won't attach it in here because it's kind of embarrassing too. But yeah, I hit the ground and rolled pretty good. Anyway, we took all of the deck boards off. All the ones we could reach anyway. So now you can get a good look at how the deck was framed up. And for out in our particular area, we have what they call free-floating decks, and that way you don't have to have a permit for them. Apparently the person who installed this one here anchored boards to the actual house on these two sides here, so it's actually anchored to the house, which is not the correct way to do it, because when you anchor it to then you have to get permits, and there's no way that somebody would come out and permit this with the spacing that I was telling you about before, how this is not 16-inch on center posts here. This is actually a 39 space between this outer and the inner. Even with this extra little one in here, you're still looking at like 29 inches of a span. So there's a lot of flexation in these boards, and being that the steps were here going straight into the back door, these two sections being the widest ones really should not have been the high traffic areas, because there was just too much flexation here. And going in through the French doors here, because the ledger board is mounted to the side of the house and there's no flashing on or anything else, now there is water damage on the floor inside the double doors that we have to address, and I have to put flashing on this if I'm not going to remove the board from there. It is just more of a big headache than anything else. But I can tell you what we're going to do, and then of course you'll see it in the next few stages of the videos. But I'm actually going to remove all of these boards, which are nailed in and anchor bolted in here, or lag screwed in on all the posts. Now there's several posts along here, so the amount of posts per anchor bolt probably, is enough to support the deck. I am just not a proponent of anchoring into the side of a post. I would rather have the trusses sitting on top of the post. Much more strength, so that the weight is distributed onto the post and straight onto the ground, and that's where it needs to go. But like I said, I didn't build this one, so I'm going to reinvent the wheel here and rip all this out pretty much. I'm going to take all these boards off here. I'm going to chop down all of the 4x4s that I'm not going to use for my new platform down low, because these are all of these 4x4 posts are cemented into the ground, and since they're so close together, that means they're probably cemented together between as well, because they are, there are some that are really close, within a foot of each other. So yeah, that's not looking too exciting to dig all these out. Let me get around the other side here. You can see all how bad these deck boards were. We're thinking of making a different project with the deck boards. We're thinking of making a box with these, so that may be an interesting video too. But this is the plan, as I was saying in the first video. We need to build platforms with 2x8s doubled up, sitting on top of the 4x4 posts, to go along 3 different areas along here to support the weight of an actual box that will have all of the joists in it, so it'll basically look the same, kind of. The way I'm going to build it is it's going to have joists coming to the middle. There will actually be a middle beam coming down, so the joists are only going to be roughly 8 feet coming to the center, and then maybe 8 feet out, because I was thinking of just making this a 16 by 16 and keeping it very simple. That way I can you know, alter it if I want to later, and add the lower section of the deck I might do. But for now, yeah, we're going to put in the 3 different areas where we can build the support beams, build the box with the joists, putting the proper hardware and everything else, sitting it on top, sliding it into the corners and against the wall here, and have it free floating as it should be. Now, I am not going to remove all of these boards, at least I don't think so right now, because of how they're installed in there, and I don't want there to be water intrusion issues, and how it's blocked around this water hose bib line that's coming in up here. I may actually remove the hose bib line too and move it somewhere else, like outside where we would actually use it, because I don't want a whole bunch of water left up here. Now, one of the other problems that we had in this particular area is a lot of water sheens off of the roof right here, because we have this pitch right here, and it comes and just pours right off right at this door. And then this is a different roof cut here, and it just sheens right down and comes over and drips on the floor. And like I said, because that area is weak, because it's already got the wider span, it just saturated the boards. They flexed. I mean, you can even see the piece of a board that's left there, how it is bowed. That's how all of them were along that door right there, because of the water damage to the boards. So what we're also going to have to do is we're going to be putting in a guttering system going along this edge here, that's going to spill out into a collection container on the corner there. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, put a gutter along this side, and have it drop down here, probably to another collection tank of some sort. Which, yeah, that'll help. We do a lot of collection of water. That's what all these totes are that are here. We used to have the totes on top of the deck here to catch the water, and you can see just from the little rain we had last night, we've got you know, full totes by the door there, and then these two, the gray and the black one here, are about halfway full. This one's about 3/4 of the way full, and that's just from the rain from last night. And what we'll do is these 4 containers here, that's enough water to water our entire garden for, you know, one day. So that's a good free water. We don't have to use our well water. But yeah, like I said, putting the beams in is a good idea. However, these 4x4s don't line up. Try and get you under here so you can see it. They don't line up as straight as you would need them, and I want to do it to where I'm off the house about 1.5 to 2 feet, and then have the first beam, but then they don't line up evenly, so I may actually have to still add another beam if I want to do that. As you can see, some of these beams here, they're splitting, so I don't know if I want to trust that when I put the weight on top of it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting these. I know that they have to be cut at least at this level here, because the new box is going to be the same size, but then I have to put a 2x8 on top of this, so I know that's at least 7.5 inches farther down, plus the hardware bracket that I'm going to be putting on the post. So I have to give a little bit of room for that, but I'm going to be cutting these off, putting this anchor on there that's going to be able to hold the 2x8s that are going to be going across there. And like I said, there's going to be 3 sections of those, and then I'll be building the 2x6 frame and trusses, or floor joists I should say, on top of that, and it's going to be structurally a lot sounder in my opinion. Plus I'm going to be doing them 16 on center, so there's not going to be any gapping, there's not going to be any areas where it's weaker than any other spot. We're also going to be moving the stairs to the center of the deck, when we're done building it, and it's going to have railing going all the way around the opened areas, which will help to strengthen everything as well. But yeah, that is a big job. And yeah, since we were on you know, quarantine 2020, we're gonna take on this project. But yeah, so that's everything that we completed on day one. It's starting to get a little bit nicer out, so I may actually try to take the 2x6s and these outer 2x8s off. We're probably going to reuse some of the 2x8s and 2x6s that are in there too for other projects around the property. But yeah, so far it's not looking too bad. We'll show you the next step when we get to it. Talk to you later.